Good morning, Dave Johnston here at Day Trade the Markets. It is Tuesday, Feb 7th, 2017. Just been filled long here with two contracts at 22.93 even in the emini S&P. And the market here has had a fairly strong open. You can see here that, shift this there. This is where most of the trading occurred yesterday. So we've had an open. It was actually a gap open that dipped and closed it, and then we've come back up. So I'm expecting that kind of rejection to have some additional follow through after this pullback. So you can see here that we've had a good red bar. That's our second strongest aggressive selling bar, and then we've also had a nice blue bar here, which is on the high of the day. So the market has rejected lower prices and higher prices to some degree. So it's really in a battle here, and you can see our software has even created a small trade location zone that we have traded above. Another reason for getting in on the long side is that we've had a pretty good amount of volume a couple of days ago right in this area, right around the 92 to 93 area. So I'm actually expecting that to hold as support, even though initially we did trade below it. So that's kind of the thinking on this trade. I'm going to go ahead and put in my protective sell stop just below this earlier blue bar here. And so the low of that bar is at 91.25. I'm going to put the stop at 90.75. So we actually have a 2.25 point risk on this trade, with really the potential to get back up there and test into the 96 area. Now, overnight we did hit 94, so it is a bit of a stumbling block for the time being, which is why this aggressive selling, in my opinion, has at least temporarily capped the market from going any higher. And we do have a nice red bar here coming off of it. So, but we're having a tough time holding below that blue bar, where we had very little trouble holding above the high of this red bar and the high of this blue bar. So I'm thinking the market is certainly more bullish than bearish, and we'll just let that trade ride here for a little bit, and I'll pause the recording and pick it up when needed. Okay, just resuming the recording here. Also just got filled long in a gold position for two contracts long from 1232.60. We had a nice gap up day yesterday in the gold. I tried to sell off here. You can see early today that got rejected. We've had a pullback here. It's kind of paused in here. We did have a dip. This is a deceleration bar, and so I wanted it to go above that. We just got filled when I started that recording on the ES. So it's nice that we got filled here, and I'm going to go ahead and put in a protective sell stop just below this last dip down here, which was at 31.70. I'll put the sell stop in at 31.60. So we got a 10 tick risk on this trade. So we'll just stretch it out a little bit more, and we can see how we're doing here. So the gold has been pretty strong of late. The next target to the upside is around the 36 area. So I'm going to go ahead and put an order in. I think I'll put it in, let's see, 32.60. I think I'll put it at 35.10 to sell one. That's our objective there. That's a pretty healthy objective. What's that? From 32 to 30, so $3.50. So I might adjust that, but we'll leave it for that at the moment. We'll just go back to the ES for just a minute, see how we're doing on that guy. Not getting much lift here on that, so we'll just keep watching it. So I'll pause the recording and pick it up when needed. Okay, just resume the recording. I've also just gotten long a couple of contracts in the crude. As you can see, we're long from 52.17. Very good aggressive selling off of the bat here, right out of the open. You can see this movement lower here. We've had a couple of magenta bars, which are our strongest aggressive selling bars, come out all the way up here and back down. Did not make a new low, but instead this aggressive selling, which is our second strongest aggressive selling, this red bar, was not able to make a new low and immediately had its high taken out. So it got in on the long side because of that. Trying to get long another 2 here. Should it dip down to where this green bar started, which took out the high of the red. So that's kind of the lay of the land at the moment in this crude market. And we'll just take a quick look at the gold. Okay, that's hasn't really done much. And the ES, oh, it's looking okay, but hasn't done a whole heck of a lot either. So just bring you up to date on those positions, and we'll pause the recording once again. Okay, we just got filled on our other 2 contracts on the crude. So I put an order in down here, 5204, which is just below the low of this red bar. Should it fail, I've put a sell stop in for 6, which should give us net short 2. So in other words, I'm reversing that position, our position right now, which is long, should this red bar have its low taken out. So just bring you up to date on that. Let's take a look at the gold. Gold is still kind of hovering in there. ES is still kind of hovering in there. So once again, I will pause the recording. Okay, just resume the recording. I did adjust the stop here in the ES up to 91.75, and I put a sell limit in for 1 up here at 95.50. That's for half of the position. We just have the 2 contracts in the ES. As far as the gold is concerned, it is starting to lift a little bit. Obviously a good sign to see that. I do still have that limit way up here, so we'll just leave that for the time being. Might get a spike up there. I have put also a sell limit in up here at 52.29 in the crude. It is just stagnating basically on our price here for the past while, so hopefully this guy can get a bit of a lift. Really thought we would have something by now, so I'm you know, it's I think I'm going to actually adjust this stop to 9. Just keep it tight, but I'm going to change it to 4. I'm not going to reverse at that price, so I'm just going to tighten up the stop, because if it does start to drop, it could drop pretty good. So just tighten up the stop there. We're long at 14, our stop's at 9, so we're just risking 5 ticks on that. I am still going to, I think I'll replace the sell stop down below this low here, which is at 5. So I'm going to place a sell stop for 2. Should it come down and take out the low of that red bar. So we've got that. It's not really a reversal, but I've adjusted the stop on that, and also put in a new order should the market start to fall off. So that's really the lay of the land. Okay, the gold is moving up a little bit. I'm going to adjust this stop here to just underneath that last little dip right there, and that was at 12.32 even. So our stop is now at 12.31.90. So we got a 7 tick risk on that one. And our ES, well, we did have a bit of a lift. Now it's come back down. Our stop on this one, we're long from 93, and our stop is at 91.75. So we have a 5 tick risk on the ES at the moment. So that's where we're at right now. Once again, I'll pause the recording. Okay, just resuming the recording on this. We are getting some pretty good lift here on the gold. So I'm going to go ahead and adjust this stop. It's moved to $1.60, $1.70 in our favor. So I'm going to move this stop to just slightly above break even. And that's good because we do our objective in there. We are getting a bit of lift here in the crude as well. And it's moved, what, I think about from 14, 26 or so, 25. So it's moved about 10 ticks or so in our favor. I'm going to cancel this. I'm going to lift this stop now to break even. It's now moved about 10 or so ticks in our favor. So also this stop is just below this green bar that has just formed. So I think that's probably a good place for it. Might be a little on the tight side, but I'd rather do it that way, considering that we've had a pretty good sell-off in here. Let's take a look at the ES trade. Okay, the ES trade, we're just hovering in that one, so we got everything in place there. Go back to the gold, it's looking good. So, okay, it's getting up there. 47.80. I'm sorry, 34.70 on the crude. Okay, so at any rate, just want to bring you up to date on that stuff. Looks like we might get filled on our crude fairly soon. Um, got a green bar in here. Okay, just closed, as you can see. This is a green bar right here. So uh, the low of that bar is at 33.50. So I'm going to raise the stop here to 33.20. It's going to lock in about 6 ticks on the trade. I'm just going to give this another minute or so. Might have to lower the objective here. It's already moved. Um, so 32.20. Okay, I'm going to bring it down to 32. Whoops, maybe I don't need to. Yeah, I was going to bring it down to, let's see, from 26 to 46. Okay, we just got filled at 47. Um, a lot of times you can get some very aggressive selling, and then that's it. I didn't really expect it, but we did have a nice trade there. I'm just going to mark in that objective that we got on that. So that was 21 ticks on the first contract on that, and our sell stop is now got to make an adjustment on that for just one contract on that one. Okay, so we'll just leave that the way it is, and go back to the crude. How we doing on this? Okay, it's still looking pretty good. Okay, we just got filled. Okay, that was nice. And I just put a marker in there. That was at 29. So that worked out well. Let's put another marker in that. So that was the fill at 29. And just want to go ahead and put another marker in down here where our stop is, right, or where our entry is. And I'm going to adjust the stop here. That was for 2 contracts, so we're out of half the position because we started with 4. We do have a nice green bar here. It's one of our stronger bars, so and we are now break even on the second half of this position, so we'll just leave it like that for the moment. And our gold here should put a marker in here too. I'll just use the arrow on this one and bring it down to here, which is our sell stop. And then we've got this is our entry price. I'll just put those markers in there. How's our ES doing? Well, it's not doing as well as the other 2. At any rate, we'll just leave this for the time being. We do have, I should put some markers in here so we know where we're at. We've got our, I'll just create one first. So we got our first objective up here. We got our stop down here. And we got our entry right here. So we've got everything marked there. So, you know, hopefully this can start to get some lift. It's not looking that positive, but I think this 93 area, 92 to 93 area has been pretty good support. And who knows, maybe it's not going to hold, but whatever. We've got our trade in there. It's a 5-tick risk only at this stage of the game in the ES. And gold is doing okay. One more look at the crude, and I'll go ahead and pause the recording. Okay, just want to resume the recording. I'm going to cancel this because we just got stopped out for a 5-tick loss on our ES trade. So just bring you up to date on that one. 5-tick loss there. The gold, we're going to use a trailing stop. We only did 2 contracts in the gold trade. We made our 21 ticks on that. Now we have locked in another 6 ticks here. And we're just going to use a trailing stop. We just have 1 contract left. On the crude, however, we still have 2 contracts left. We sold 2 at a plus 15 tick profit for each of the first 2 contracts. So I put in another sell limit up here quite a ways towards the likely area of resistance. So might make an adjustment on that, but for now I'll just leave it there, and we've got our stop in at break even for the second half of this position. So once again, I'll pause the recording. Okay, just resuming the recording, we are getting some more follow through here with the gold. We've had a dip here. The last little dip occurred right here. So the low on that is at 34.20. So I'm going to raise this stop to, let's see, we'll put it at 33.90. So we're long from 32.60, so that'll lock in 13 ticks. So just want to bring you up to date on that. Now, as far as the crude goes, we're still in this crude. We have a break even on the second half of the original position, which is 4 contracts. So we just got that in play for the moment, and yeah, we'll just leave it like that. So once again, I'll pause the recording. Okay, just want to resume the recording here. We are getting even more follow through on the gold, which is good to see, obviously, because we're long. So we did move our stop previously up to 1233.90, and you can see that the market has just formed new highs with this green bar. So the low of this green bar down here is at 35.10. So I'm going to raise this up to 34.80. So that's going to lock in $2.20 on that second contract. So I wanted to bring you up to date on that. The crude still not doing too much. We were somewhat fortunate here. I would say that when the market did dip down, of course we'd put our stop at break even, which was just below this first green bar that occurred on this little wave higher. And so it was we knew that it was a good placement for it, and it did keep us in the trade. So that worked out nicely. So we're getting some more lift here too, which is nice to see on the crude. And should we get a paint bar out of this, I'll go ahead and paint bar aggression bar. I'll go ahead and adjust the stop. We did get one here, and that low has not been taken out. So, and the low on that one is at 52.20. So I will raise the stop to 52.17 for now, and just wait another minute. These are 2-minute bars, of course. In the crude and the gold, we use a 1-minute bar in the emini S&P. Okay, we do have a green bar here. So the low of this bar is at 23. So I'm going to raise this stop now to 20. So we've locked in at least 6 ticks on the second half of this position. Remember that on this particular trade we did have 4 contracts on. We only had 2 contracts in the gold and the ES. So okay, that's up to date on that one. One final look at the gold. Okay, we've got another green bar. That's good. So good wave of buying in here. And after this, a little bit of a kind of consolidation in here, so that's a good sign. I think we'll just leave the stop where it is for the moment, and I'll pause the recording, and we'll pick it up here when needed. Okay, just restarting the recording here. It did come down, just stopped us just a moment ago. So just a 6-tick profit on the second 2 contracts on that. I'm going to cancel this here. So we did make 21 ticks per contract on the first 2 contracts, and 6 ticks per contract on the second 2. We still have our gold trade going on. Just 2 contracts on this one to start. You can see we just had another little dip down here, so I'm going to adjust that stop again. That made it down to 35.30, so I'll raise the stop to 35 even. So, and I'll move the marker here as well. This was our first exit right here. We had a nice exit on that at 34.70. That was 21 ticks on that. Was I confused on the gold or the crude? Yeah, it went from 14 to 20 now. Sorry, it wasn't 20, it was 15 ticks. Yeah, apologize. So it was 15 ticks on the first 2 contracts each, and 6 ticks each. So total of 30 plus 12, so that's 42 ticks on that. So let me just jot that down just so I remember it here. So the net result on that was 42. And I'll just put a so we know that. That was a plus on that. On the ES, we had a loss here of 5 ticks times 2. So I'll just put that. So that was a minus 10 ticks in the ES. Okay, just so we know that. And the gold here, yeah, we're long from 26, and let me just put that right over there. There we go. Okay, so yeah, this is the one where we had the 21 ticks on the first objective, and we've locked in, what is it, 24 on the second on this one. So that'll give us 55 ticks on this should we get stopped. So I'll just mark that in. We may just, now that I've calculated that, at least I can keep track of it here. If we have to make an adjustment, I'll make an adjustment on that. So just want to bring you up to date on all that stuff, and once again I'll go ahead and pause the recording. Okay, just restarted the recording, just got filled on this just a moment ago. So 24 ticks on the second contract, and this is not 55, it's 45. Get my numbers right, because it was 21 and 24. Which gives us 45 ticks on that. Okay, so that's it for the trades here today. Nice 45 ticks on the gold. On the crude, we had 42 ticks because we had 15 and 50, because we had double the contracts here. We actually had 4 contracts on this. So our first objective was 15, so that was a total of 30, and then we got 6 each on the final third and fourth contracts for a total of 12, so 42 ticks there. So we got the 42 ticks and the 45, so that's 87 ticks. So that's, we got minus 10 here, so that's $870. So just move this forward for you here, and minus 10 ticks is on the ES is minus 125 bucks. So we ended up with what does that work out to? $7.45. So it turned out to be a nice day on that with these 3 trades. Not always able to make 3 trades simultaneously because don't always see opportunities at the same time in all 3 of the markets that we like to follow, but it did happen today, and we were able to get some trades on. So it worked out all right. I think one of the things that I really liked about these particular trades here, in particular, was, for example, this contract here, where we were both the gold and the crude. Obviously, we lost money in the ES, but we were able to make adjustments on here. If you remember, we made an adjustment down into here, and we were saved. In other words, it was 3 ticks below the last dip. It moved up again, and we put it 3 ticks below here, and then we finally got stopped. But it did allow us to stay in the trade and make several more ticks. Also in this contract here, on this trade, we had put the initial stop in here at break even, which is just below the first bit of wave of buying here on that green bar, and it kept us in as it pulled back to within 2 ticks of it. Then we were able to participate in this nice upswing and be able to adjust the stop from just the break even there up to 20, making an extra 6 ticks on that trade. So we do find the software really useful, not just for the identification of when to get into a trade and what side of the market to get on, but also in the trade management. So just want to kind of highlight that to finish off this video. So thanks for taking the time to watch. I hope you found it beneficial. If you have any questions or comments, you can reach us at info@daytradethemarkets.com. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.